Click subscribe to Proper English Online for more real English conversations with native speakers every week. Like my lessons? Support me on Patreon. Patrons can download every worksheet for every lesson. Hey guys, this is Lee from Proper English Online, and this is the worksheet video for Upper Intermediate Lesson 4, Films These Days. So in today's lesson, we're going to learn some phrases for disagreeing, some phrases to show you don't understand, some phrases for sharing opinions, and also some various phrases that we heard in the listening. Okay, so before we get started with this vocabulary, I'd like you to look at your PDF worksheet, and you'll see we've got our listening script here. Now there are some missing words in this listening script, so we're going to listen again and try to fill in these missing words. Okay, so let's listen to that again, fill in those missing words, and I'll see you in a bit.
Are you enjoying this?
What, the film? Honestly, I zoned out of this a while ago.
Glad it's not just me then. I really don't see what all the fuss is about with this film. 5-star reviews and everyone at work talking about it.
Yeah, and what for? It's so dull. Should we give up on this one?
Yeah, I'm not in the mood for it anymore. Gone off the idea. Let's switch it off.
Not gonna lie, pretty disappointed though. Carla at work was going on and on about it the other day, talking about how amazing it was. And I normally like this director's films. Honestly, I was really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, me too. Earlier, when I saw it was 2.5 hours long, I got a bit put off, to be honest. But we've watched longer films before.
Yeah, but then 45 minutes into watching it, we're falling asleep.
I know, right? It was taking way too long to get started. I couldn't be bothered with it. The main character only came in after about half an hour.
I honestly don't even know who the main character was.
It was supposed to be the guy with the beard, right? The one played by Steve McSheen?
Well, whatever. It was rubbish anyway. I don't get films these days. They all seem to get rave reviews from critics, and there's so much buzz about them when they come out, and it's all like just a massive disappointment in the end.
Yeah, I get you. There's so much buzz and hype. People buy into it, and then when they watch the film, internally, like unconsciously or something, they know it's rubbish. It's a bad film. But then they can't admit it. They have to keep going along with what everyone else is saying.
You know, I felt exactly the same about that film we went to the cinema to see. You remember the one with Emily Wilson? Startown? Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, all my friends were going on about it, saying how great it was. There were so many things about it on TV. It was so hyped up, right?
Yeah.
And then we watched it, and
I've honestly never wanted to leave the cinema halfway through a film before, but that was just exhausting.
yeah.
You know, I'm glad we feel the same way about this because, after we saw that, I was chatting with the people at work about it, and then they just couldn't get their heads around why I didn't like it. They were, so baffled.
What did they say?
They were talking about how good the acting was. They said I should watch it again and pay attention to the actors more or something. Oh yeah, you love this. Someone actually said this. You just couldn't appreciate how subtle and nuanced their performance was.
What? Ridiculous. Emily Wilson's not bad, really, but in that film, nah, I'm not having that. She's far from subtle.
Anyway, I'm glad you see this sort of thing in the same way I do. I can't really talk about films with most people. Our tastes and opinions are just too different.
Me too, but it wasn't like that before. This feels like a new thing, like what you were saying about people getting excited about films and then getting disappointed, but kind of following everybody else, still thinking it's good because everyone else does.
You think that's new?
Well, maybe not, but I just notice it now.
I think we're both sounding a bit old, aren't we? Film these days aren't as good as they used to be.
I'm not saying that, just...
I know. Only joking. Do you want to watch something else?
Yeah, let's have a look, see what's on. Okay guys, so we've filled in those missing words now, I hope. So let's take a look at some phrases we heard in the conversation. So firstly, we heard the guy say they just couldn't get their heads around why I didn't like it. He was talking about his co-workers. They just couldn't get their heads around why I didn't like the film. This one too, I'm not having that. This phrase here, a guy used at one point in the conversation. Ugh, I'm not having that. This one too, I really don't see what all the fuss is about. This expression here we heard as well, talking about the film, I don't see what all the fuss is about. This one too, I couldn't be bothered with it. I couldn't be bothered with it. One more here, I'm not in the mood for it as well. And this one too, I don't get films these days. Okay, and we also heard this one here, I'm glad you see this sort of thing in the same way I do. So the guys were talking about films that they have been watching recently, and they were kind of complaining about the films, right? They didn't really like them. So of all these phrases we heard in the conversation, I'd like you to look now at this table you have in your PDF worksheet. In this table we have 4 functions. So we've got saying you don't understand, saying you don't like something or don't want to do something, some phrases to talk about having similar opinions, and one more, some disagreeing phrases. Okay guys, so I'd like you to fill in this table with some of those phrases that we heard in the listening. Let's do one together, shall we? This first one, I don't get films these days. That means I don't understand films these days. I don't get them. How about the other 3 functions? What other phrases can we put in these boxes? Okay, so some more phrases to say you don't understand. This one here, they just couldn't get their heads around why I didn't like it. He was talking about his co-workers. He told them, oh, I don't like that film. And they just couldn't get their heads around why he didn't like it. They couldn't understand why he didn't like it. Similar to, I don't understand, I can't get my head around, for example. Okay, another one here. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. I don't see what all the fuss is about. This expression here, I don't see, means I don't understand. And fuss in this case means lots of people like the film, but I don't understand why. What's all the fuss about? Why is it so good? Now, let's look at this phrase too. So saying you don't like something, don't want to do something, I couldn't be bothered with it. I couldn't be bothered means I don't want to do it. I can't be bothered. I don't want to do it, right? Another one we had here, I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not in the mood for it. I don't want to do it. I'm not in the mood for that. Now down here, talking about having similar opinions. This one here, I'm glad you see this sort of thing in the same way I do. The phrase here is see something in the same way. It means you have the same opinion or very similar opinion about something. Okay, and finally, disagreeing phrases. There was one there, I'm not having that. Now, this is quite a strong phrase to show, no, I disagree. No, I disagree with that. I don't agree. So, disagreeing phrases, I'm not having that. Okay, so how about the pronunciation? So in these phrases, which words are stressed and which phrases have any linking or weak sounds? So I'll do the first one with you. I don't get films these days. I don't get films these days. So for this one, we've got kind of a small stress on don't, and then we've got this really big stress on get. I don't get films these days. I don't get films these days. Now, as for weak sounds, I can't hear anything there, but one interesting thing is this T here in get is pronounced more of a glottal sound. Get. I don't get films these days. Get, back here at the throat. If you can't say that, just try saying this. Get, same sound. I don't get films these days. How about the other phrases? Which words do we stress? And which words have any linking or weak sounds in them? When I say weak sounds, I mean, of course, this sound we have in English. Okay, so pause this video and think. Okay, so let's do the next one. They just couldn't get their heads around why I didn't like it. Get their heads around. Get their heads around. So small stress on get, big stress on heads. Get their heads around. Any linking here? Absolutely. We've got this zzz, heads around. They just couldn't get their heads around. Now, the next one. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. So quite a few words in this one. So normally we'd stress really because it's an adverb. I really don't see. So small stress on see. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. Big stress on fuss. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. Why do people like this? It's not good. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. Also, any linking? Well, there's some here. Fusses. Fusses, also fusses about, right? I missed that one there. So, fusses about. Fusses about. So that's one part. But also, we've got this T and this A here. Now, for me, I would pronounce that as a D. So I'd say, I don't see what all. I don't see what all the fuss is about. One more time. I don't see what all is the... One more time. I don't see what all the fuss is about. Or again, we could add really. I really don't see what all the fuss is about. Okay, now let's look at these phrases to say that you don't like something or you don't want to do something. So, I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered. Now this one here, small stress on couldn't, big stress on bothered. I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered. So I couldn't be bothered with it. Now, no real linking here, but one small thing about the B here. It's not really B, it's more of a B. Quick I sound. Couldn't be bothered. Be bothered. Be bothered. I couldn't be bothered with it. I guess we can put some linking between the T here. With it, with it, with it. Okay, how about for the next one? I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not in the mood for it. Now, here, stress. Not in the mood for it. Big stress on mood. I'm not in the mood for it. I'm not in the mood for it. Any linking? Well, for me, as I pronounce it here with like a D sound, nodding, nodding. I'm not in the mood for it. Again, I'm not in the mood for it. Also, for it, for it. This for, again, this or sound is more of a sound. So, for it. It has a weak sound, doesn't it? For it. I'm not in the mood for it. One more time. I'm not in the mood for it. Okay, now how about for these talking about having similar opinions? So I'm glad you see this sort of thing in the same way I do. See this sort of thing in the same way I do. So again, as we said, see means to kind of understand or think about. So glad you see, small stress there. I'm glad you see this sort of thing in the same way I do. Bigger stress on those two words. Again, I'm glad you see this sort of thing in the same way I do. Same way I do. So a bit of linking there too. Same way I. Same way I. Joining together. Same way I do. Any more weak sounds in the? Well, of course, we've got the, right? There's a weak sound. In the same way, in the same way. Now, the last one here, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. This disagreeing phrase, quite a strong disagreeing phrase, so big stress on not. I'm not having that. Big stress on that too. I'm not having that. One more time. I'm not having that. Okay, guys, so let's try and have a little practice with these phrases. So, saying you don't understand, these ones first. Is there anything you don't get? You don't understand? Anything that you or someone else can't get their heads around? You don't understand? Anything that you don't see what all the fuss is about? Now, anything also you can't be bothered with or couldn't be bothered with? Something you didn't like or didn't want to do. This one too, I'm not in the mood for it. Something you're not in the mood for. Also here, having similar opinions. Is there anyone you know who has similar opinions to you about something? So do you see something in the same way as them? Alright, okay, so we can use these phrases, have a little think, have a little practice using these phrases. Okay guys, so in the conversation we also heard these phrases here. Now, these phrases are using some kind of multi-word verb. A multi-word verb is a verb usually with a preposition or maybe another word. So 2 or 3 words used together and it's like a verb phrase. So in these 6 examples, as you can see, there's a missing word. So we need to look back or try to remember what the missing word is. Also, we need to match them with these hints from 1 to 6. So let's look at the first one together. So this one, I zoned of this a while ago. This expression here, we heard the guy was talking about the film, they were watching a movie, and it wasn't really very enjoyable. It wasn't really a good film. So for this one, the guy said, oh, I'm not interested. I zoned out of this a while ago. I zoned out of this a while ago. It means I stopped paying attention. Number 5 here. So zone out of something means to stop paying attention. Zone out also kind of means maybe look a little bit sleepy, look like you're not really listening or paying attention. Your face is just kind of blank. So I zone out, I zoned out, I'm zoning out, I'm just not really paying attention, right? How about the rest of them? There's 5 other examples. So fill in the missing words and match them with the hints. Okay guys, so let's look at number 2, this one here. I was really looking forward to watching it. Really looking forward to doing something. This one is number 6, to feel excited about something that will happen. So I was really looking forward to doing it. Now, notice here we have ing and we have a be verb here. So I was looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it, we could say. Now, also verb ing, looking forward to doing something. I was looking forward to watching it, the film, for example. We could also say, I'm looking forward to the film. I'm looking forward to the noun, right? Now, how about C? I got a bit put off it. I got a bit put off it. This expression, to get put off something, this one means to be persuaded not to do something anymore, or to be persuaded that you shouldn't do it. So I got put off it. Something put me off it. I was put off it. I got put off it. I don't really want to do it anymore. Why? I don't know. Something persuaded me. We could use this another way too. He put me off it. He persuaded me that that's not a good thing to do, or persuaded me not to do something. Okay, so how about D? People buy something it, especially hype or buzz in these cases. Hype or buzz is like lots of excitement about a movie or a TV show or music or whatever. So this one here is people buy into it. People buy into it. To buy into something means to believe something, especially that is actually bad or incorrect. To buy into something, that's number 1. So for example, we might use this phrase when talking about maybe some politician or something. A politician says, oh, if you vote for me, I'll do this, I'll do that. If you believe this person and actually it's a lie, then we can say, oh, you bought into it. You bought into the lie. You believed it was true. Actually, it wasn't true. Now, the next one, keep going. This one here was keep going along with. Go along with what everyone else is saying. If you go along with something, that one here means to agree with something. To go along with it means to agree with it. Now, to go along with something doesn't have any negative sound always. In this case, it does a little bit, because we've got keep going along with. People to keep going along with what everyone else is saying. Has a slightly negative sound in this case, but we could also say, yeah, I'll go along with that. I will go along with that. I agree with it. So also we can use it in that way. The last one here, I've gone, what is it? I've gone off the idea. I've gone off the idea, quite similar to get put off something, but gone off the idea just means you no longer want to do something. You're not really interested anymore. Yeah, I've gone off the idea. Now why? I don't know. I'm just not interested anymore. But you see the difference between this one and this one? Get put off it, something changed your mind, something persuaded you. However, I've gone off the idea. Why? I don't know. I'm just not interested anymore. Okay guys, so let's look at these phrases here and think about our pronunciation. So firstly, let's think about the stress in these words. First one, number 1, I zoned out of this a while ago. I zoned out. So small stress on this O sound, big stress on out. So I zoned out. Also, as you can hear, there's some linking too. The D joins the ow sound. I zoned out. One more time. I zoned out of this. Zoned out of this. So again, zoned out of something. How about the rest of them? Stress, linking, weak sounds. What can you find? Pause this video and think. Okay, so let's look at B here. So I was really looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to it. So big stress on really, looking forward to it. Maybe a small stress on looking. I was really looking forward to it. Once more here, to watching it. Now, if it's just it, if we get rid of watching, it'll be to it, to it, to it. I was really looking forward to it, to it. So here we can join these ones together, to it, with the W sound. How about this next one here? So I got a bit put off it. If I say it more quickly, I'll say I got a bit put off it. More of a D sound for me. That's how I would say it. So again, I got a bit put off it. So we're linking this T and this A, gotta. A bit put off it. So D sounds for me. That's how I would say it. But also you could say I got a bit put off it. That's fine. That's fine too. Or you might say I got a bit put off it. This one is using that glottal stop that we mentioned before. This one's quite British example. So let's try again. I got a bit put off it. Oh wow. And one more time. I got a bit put off it. Wow. Okay, cool. So that glottal stop is there too. Now D, people buy into it. People buy into it. Here, small stress on buy, big stress on into. And also, we've got a bit of linking there with the W sound. Buy into it. Buy into it. Okay, how about the next one then? Keep going along with. Keep going along with. So here, small stress on there and big stress on along. Going along with. Going along with. So yeah, so keep going along with. And the last one here, I've gone off the idea. I've gone off the idea. So small stress on gone, big stress on off. I've gone off the idea. I've gone off the idea. And also, we're going to link this N and this O. Gone off. I've gone off the idea. Okay guys, let's have a little practice here. Can we think of any things recently that you found maybe really boring? Was there anything that made you zone out? Is there anything you're looking forward to doing? Anything that put you off doing something recently? Have you got put off something recently? Now, what do you think people often buy into, believe, but it's not really true? And do you think, and is there anything that you have gone off doing recently? Anything you've gone off the idea? So we might say, I quite like the idea of maybe going to the gym more, but I've gone off the idea. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, so pause this video and think. Okay guys, so a last thing now. In the conversation, the guys were talking about films and they used some various expressions. I'd like you to look at these here and match them with these hints here. We've just got 4 more examples. So some of these are talking about films. So get rave reviews from critics is one. The film got rave reviews from critics. This one here, to get rave reviews, what do you think this means? This one here means to get extremely positive reviews. To get extremely positive reviews. So that is, oh, there's a mistake here, isn't there? There should be 3 and 4. So for this one, get rave reviews, that one is 3. How about the rest of them? Look at these phrases and match them with the hints. Okay, so B, we came across this before. There's so much buzz and hype. Buzz and hype. This one here is kind of people talking positively about a product, or film, music, anything at all, because of promotion. So let's say there's so much buzz about this new movie. There's so much hype about this new album by a singer, for example. It means lots of people are talking about it and maybe it sounds really exciting. People are very excited about watching it, listening to it. So yeah, for that one, I'd say it's number 2. Okay, so see here, it was so hyped up. It was so hyped up. Similar expression, we've got hyped this time. Now this one means to be intensely and maybe excessively promoted. So for this one, I would say that's number 4. It was hyped up. So a movie, a TV show, an album, whatever, was hyped up. It means they promoted it maybe a bit too much, excessively. It has a negative sound. It's so hyped up. It's too hyped up, we might say. And the last one, baffled. To be baffled, this one just means to be very confused. Cool. All right, so some extra phrases there we can also add. Quick bit of pronunciation, get rave reviews. Big stress on rave. If you're going to say this, get rave reviews. Now, buzz and hype, we might use these words together, and if we do, we're going to link this. Buzz and hype. And it's going to be an un sound, not and, un. Buzz and hype. And this one here, it was so hyped up, hyped up. Can you hear there's a little linking there? Hyped up, hyped up. One more time, it was so hyped up. Big stress on so too. Now finally, baffled. I'm baffled. I was baffled. Just big stress on baffled. It just means I'm confused, right? Totally baffled. Okay guys, well done. All right, thank you for joining me today. I really hope this lesson was useful for you. So in today's lesson, we learned some different phrases we can use in conversations to show that you don't understand something, to show that you disagree, so various other phrases. And also we learned some interesting multi-word verbs and their pronunciation, a few extra phrases too. So thank you for joining me today, guys. I really hope this lesson was useful for you, and hope I'll see you again. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.